Hi, my name is Mandy McIntosh. I am the owner of Prodigal Panda Writing and Social Science Center. Last week we talked about demons. This week we are going to be talking about angels, and I'll be showing you some of the products I've made for you to interact with them, so stay tuned. We're going to start off today with a little history on angels. I have a little disclaimer before that. Then we're going to actually pretty briefly talk about my cases with angels. And then we're going to move into talking about specific angels, and I'll be showing you my products so that we can talk about how to interact with them. I don't mean for this to be a home shopping network YouTube video. I want it to be an informational video, but my products are also designed to help you interact with the angels because they're how I interact with them. And they're something that I have developed given my background and researching these things. So, I'm going to show them to you because it's easiest for me to talk about them while I'm showing them to you. Um, the second disclaimer I have today is we're going to be talking about this topic from mostly actually a Jewish point of view, but we're also going to be talking about it from a Christian and slightly an Islamic point of view. So if you're pagan and Wiccan, you know you're always welcome here. I don't judge anybody's practices. To each their own. It may not be my thing, but if it's your thing, we're fine. It doesn't matter. You could still possibly use my products because I don't put any energy or anything like that into them. And hopefully you learned something from this video as well, or can take something from this video. I'm not sure how this works for pagan and Wiccan people because for my faith, the angels are here to relate messages from the Jewish God Yahweh, which most Wiccan and pagan people don't worship. They might honor in some way, but they don't usually claim him as like their big God. And Yahweh is not a fan of working with other gods. He clearly states he's a jealous God and there's no other gods around him. And then he tends to back away from people that practice in Christianity and in Judaism when we start to get distracted and maybe get into other practices. So I don't understand how it works. I'd love to hear your perspective. And also for my Jewish people out there are materials that I don't think are out there really in the world. Like, I don't think the real Kabbalah's out there in the world. I think some interpretations of it are out there. I think some scholars have let some information out there, but I don't think we have the real Kabbalah out there. It used to be that it was for men with certain characteristics and they would get to see it. So, like, a woman would never get to see that. And I'm not sure that it's really leaked from the faith. So, I'm not sure if I have some of these things exactly right. And if you have a good resource for me, I am working on a book about angels. I would love to hear from you. So, drop it in the comments below or float me an email. Again, I think it's great when we all share information. And if you are strong enough in your faith, you should be able to have a civil conversation with somebody of a different faith and hear about their practices and be okay in the end. And you might come to think about it and think about whether your practices are really what you want. And if you're firm in it, then you're okay. And if not, then you can make those changes you need. So, again, we're talking about this from an Abrahamic point of view today, but there's no judgment here. And I'm just going to talk about it the way that I know about it. There's one more disclaimer I'm going to put in here. Um, Myself and probably 99% of the other people I know that work with angels, we do not believe that they are just completely love and light and they're coming to love a demon out of somebody. The support for it isn't there in our holy books. In fact, the angels that were sent to tell Abraham he was going to have a son and then sent on because they were going to destroy the town of Sodom and Gomorrah. That was their command from God. And so they spared Lot and his family, and they destroyed a whole town and killed people. So angels to me, and again, 99% of the people I know that work with them are not these love and light, unicorn and rainbow people. However, a great deal of books that I've read about angels share that perspective that they're just love and light and love, love, love. And if that works for you, that is awesome. You're not going to hear me talk about it that way. So, those are my disclaimers for the day. I always have disclaimers, I think, when I do videos. Religion and spirituality is a pretty touchy subject. But again, everybody's always welcome here. I have to tell you about my viewpoint of it, but feel free to leave comments. Feel free to shoot me an email. Let me know your resources. I'm happy to check them out. I like to share kind of everybody's points of view. So we're good to go here. Let's go ahead and talk about the history of angels. Now, in the Bible, there's just not a lot there about angels. We do see them as acting as messengers. I just told you about Sodom and Gomorrah. We see them assisting with matters of spiritual warfare. We have Michael wielding his sword, getting ready to go into battle in Revelation in the Bible. There are a few descriptions of angels in the Bible, and wow, they are nothing like we see and describe angels today. They're quite disturbing and scary, to be very, very honest. Now, this is my personal theory on this, and I don't know if this is out there or not. But what I've noticed is between other friends that work with angels, we do have the same traits and jobs and characteristics for the same angel, but the way I see them may not be the way that my friend sees them. Angels are, God help us with the climate that we're in, they are non-binary. They're not female or male. So some of us see a male angel for certain angels, some of us see a female angel for certain angels. Some of us have a Michael with blonde hair, some of us have a Michael with brown hair, some of us have a dark-skinned Michael, some of us have a light-skinned Michael. And I really think that they probably have shape-shifted to some degree for us. And I hate using the word shapeshift, but that's the best word I can describe for it. I think they appear and come to us the way that they are, that we are expecting them to, right? We have a vision of them and they're like, I will look like that because really I look like this big hairy spider with a lion head, and that's going to scare somebody. So I will come looking like this beautiful human being with wings to this person because that's what they're expecting. We also see people that are supposedly angels, and the Bible tells us we might be entertaining an angel without knowing it. There have been numerous recordings of emergency scenes where somebody just comes out of thin air and helps with the people. I can't remember what show it was on. I think it might have been Paranormal Witness, where there was like a priest that was there that was trying to do something over a body while they were working on it. And they kept trying to tell him he was going to have to back off, that they needed room to treat this person. And he was very persistent about it. And then nobody knew who this person was. And I think at one point, one of the paramedics realized, like, this is not somebody that's alive. There's video of them like disappearing, like literally on camera. So those things exist. I will also tell you, I have seen like little gold glitter, like gold glitter in the air. And I know that that's an angel because I can feel that energy. So there's various ways that you might see an angel. And it may surprise you to know that you are above angels in the spiritual scheme of things. The Bible says that angels are below people and they're here to serve us. Angels are not made in the image of God, as far as we can discern. They do not have free will like a person does, so they're able to only carry out commands. Oh, please don't misunderstand me. Angels are not your personal genies. Okay, guys. They follow commands from God, not from you. Now, just like when we pray, angels are like another tool. And I hate to say it that way because, at this point, I have somewhat of a relationship with them. So, um, they're a tool, though. They're like prayer. They're here to help you. Prayer doesn't always work out the way we want it to, right? We might really want something and we pray and pray and pray and we do all the things right, and it still doesn't turn out the way that we wanted it to turn out. Um, Having an angel come down and walk with you and work with you on something does not necessarily guarantee that you're going to get it. They are here to help you learn, to deliver a message from God for you, to give you insight, to help you grow and transform, of course, spiritually and as a person through the situation. So when something goes bad, they are still here to help you to sort through that thing. Now, as I mentioned in Jewish tradition, there are many more writings about angels than you're going to find in the Bible. And I really don't understand exactly how we decided what went there and what didn't. These writings were found in temples, they were found with the Dead Sea Scrolls. They are obviously something that was of religious significance to Jewish people. But Catholic and Protestant Christians just did not include them in the Bible. The Catholic Church kept more books in the Bible than the Protestants did, so they've retained a little bit of that mysticism, but it really, to me, looks like anything mystical kind of just got dumped to the side. And we picked what was like more logical, more practical kind of things. And we just did away with so much work that was included from Jewish scholars and rabbis in the temple. Um, so that's my take on it. I think our religion lost a lot of mysticism. Now, the Jewish tradition laid out a lot of names of demons. They also laid out an entire hierarchy of angels. And you're familiar with some of them. You've definitely heard Archangel, Cherubim, and Sephirim in your life. You've probably even sang about some of those in songs. And Islamic scholars have also grouped angels into categories, very much so like the Jewish tradition, even though the Quran itself does not address the issue. Of course, Archangel Gabriel was said to have relayed the Quran to Prophet Muhammad. Now, the Jewish Kabbalah, and again, I don't think we have the actual Jewish Kabbalah floating around in the public realm, but supposedly in the Jewish Kabbalah, some angels are actually just an extension of God, that he wants to perform a task and interact with the timeline, basically. And for me, that was kind of interesting. It kind of gives a whole new meaning to the Old Testament, where we're seeing things like the angel of the Lord or angel of God. Um, so once the task is finished, that was the angel of God, or sorry, the extension of God that became an angel. Once that task is finished, then that angel ceases to exist. It just gets drawn back into God. Um, Angels are also found in, I'm going to butcher this word, I apologize so much, Zoroastrianism. Um, this is an Iranian faith, and those angels are also very similar to Jewish angels, and they work in pretty much the same way. There's one thing that I wanted to mention. Yes, there are fallen angels as well. Supposedly, there was a big war in heaven after Satan rebelled, who was an angel. He rebelled with the sin of pride and he fell and he started a war and he lost. And then he took his posse and they headed on down to the depths. And those are a lot of where our demons come from. They're fallen angels. Also, I didn't mention this last week. Christians or the Jewish people have slapped demon on a lot of entities that are actually gods for other cultures. So if you're pagan or Wiccan and you think you're worshiping a demon, you might just actually be worshiping someone else's god as opposed to um, an actual demon that another religion has labeled a demon. So that's interesting to know as well. So, as usual, with all metaphysical and spiritual issues, angels are just not as straightforward as we'd like to believe. What we can take from all this history is that we know they're messengers and we know they're helpers to humans. That's how they've been seen for most forms of Jewish tradition, and that carries over to the other faiths that are offshoots of them. Now, let's talk about cases. Believe it or not, I don't get any phone calls about an angel problem in someone's home. That would be interesting to get. Never have gotten them. So when I talk about my cases, I really started my paranormal group. I started one when I first started doing things, and everybody kind of got sidetracked. I was switching jobs. There was just a lot going on, and most of us just kind of dropped it. So I started Infirm, a group in 2013, and I wanted to have different religious people on that team that I could call a pastor and say, hey, we've got a problem here. Can you come out and help us? Could you do a house blessing? Could you come out and do a cleansing? Um, that didn't work. And it didn't. And we had a case where there was a psychokinetic haunting, and those can follow you home. They normally don't hang out there, but they definitely show up there. And if the person's angry with you because they don't necessarily know that they're angry with you, but you're trying to get rid of this thing that is basically an extension of them. And so it's kind of like fighting for its life, literally, and you're there trying to figure out what it is and to make it go away. So it it rears up all those ugly emotions, and for whatever reason, it comes home with you. And I had that. So I decided to start reading into the Bible, specifically looking for cleansing things, specifically looking for what to do with this thing. And surprise, there's no big guide that says, this is what you do when you've got this, right? It's gray. What I based things off of was, what did they do to cleanse the temple? Because if they were cleansing the temple and keeping it a holy place for God, then that seems like it should work if we need to get an entity out of a home. And I would go around before I designed my blessing and cleansing kit, would go around with like probably 12 bottles of different oils to bless a home with. They're now combined into one oil, which is amazing. And I started doing my research on these things, and I started working with Archangel Michael back in 2013. And I've been working with him since. I always call him down when I'm doing a cleansing. And that's pretty much how it works for me. I really only call him down when I'm doing a cleansing. There's been very few cases, and they've been recently, that I've actually worked with them during the case. Um, I have, however, had people tell me that they have seen like a light behind me or around me when I'm out investigating. Um, they normally say it's kind of quick, but they do see it, so that I definitely have like an angel hanging out with me. Um, I try to make smart decisions, but I do like to get to the bottom of things. So I'm fine with putting myself in some situations. And so it's probably a good thing that they're hanging in the back of me just to make sure I don't do something stupid. Uh, but sometimes at 3 a.m., you just don't make the best of decisions, okay? But I've had more than one person tell me they have seen that. Now, the one case I can tell you that I had multiple people at the same time see it, was a demonic case. And it was a big blue flash of light. Um, this was just, and I mentioned it last week. This was just a very complicated case, and I really wasn't sure what to do. There was a lot of new things thrown my way very quickly that I was really like, oh my gosh, about, um, because I'd never seen anything like it before. But when it got down to, we're cleansing at this point, I needed the demon to let go of something. And of course he wouldn't, because he's a demon. They're not nice. They don't just give us what we want. And I kept hearing I needed to let Michael handle it. And I was like, but I'm not ready to get rid of him. I need to get this thing from the demon first. And I finally said, fine, okay, go ahead, go after him. And everybody saw this blue light just flash, really hard and heavy, and everything worked out great. And we were fine. But multiple people saw it. It's always cool for me because sometimes I see it and nobody else sees what I see. So when other people get to experience the phenomena with me, that's always a great day in my book. Um, I don't have any angel pictures to show you. I've never had one be photographed when we've been on a case. I've never had one show up in a video. I've never had one leave an EVP. I've never had one talk through a ghost box. Um, why? I don't know. I communicate with them, I guess you would say psychically or through telepathy. Um, Not necessarily through a ghost box. Um, that doesn't really help us from a scientific point of view, but that is how it works for me. So I don't have any evidence to share with you of angels like I did last week with the demon. Some people, there are definitely angel pictures out there. I don't have one, but they're definitely out there. Some people have taken photos where it's a bright light. We have to be careful with those because a lot of these photos are simply just light flares and reflections that happened with the flash of the camera. But there are some really compelling ones out there as well. One that I particularly was just in awe of, and of course, I was a younger child when I saw this, but it was on Unsolved Mysteries. Um, there was a man with a bomb in a classroom, and these are small kids, and I would wager that majority of them didn't know what an angel was. They talked about a lady telling them to move away from the guy with the bomb. They had been really up in his space. They actually had taped around him. He said he needed the kids to get back from him. So they had put tape like in a box around him and told the kids they couldn't go past the tape. But now they're backing up further from the tape. And what ended up happening was the bomb malfunctioned and it went off. And these kids talked about this lady that had told them to get away from him and that had shielded them during the explosion. And there is actually what appears to be a person with wings that was like captured when the smoke and everything went off on the wall. And it was just really amazing to see. Of course, I told you there's video of people out there that are angelic in their nature, but then just disappear into thin air. And of course, that coincides with us from information that we have from holy text. So there are pictures out there of angels. Nobody's ever caught one of like the lion with the spider body, but um, they're they're out there. Um, so I don't have any. That's kind of my cases for you guys. I know that must be very disappointing. I really haven't worked with any like during a case until fairly recently. Right now, I'm working on my book for Sleeper Mortuary, and I'm not sure entirely why, but Uriel's definitely very adamantly wanting to help with this case. So I am working with him to a degree. I've worked with them mostly just when I'm cleansing things. I don't tend to work with them when I am investigating. However, they do tend to hang around with me when I'm investigating, which is always a good thing. But I never put protection up around myself when I investigate because I want to experience what's there. And if I put that protection up around myself, then I kind of block myself from getting to experience the paranormal as well. So I don't necessarily call them down to help with cases. Now, what I do is I meditate with angels a lot. And we can do this to receive messages and insight from God. We can use it to get insight about our paranormal work. And I use it to just grow myself as a person spiritually. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't start that process until about maybe 6 years ago or so. Um, to describe the process that I use, I'm going to need to share some things with you. They're going to feel controversial for some people, and that's okay. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And if it's for you, it's for you. So This is what I do, and it doesn't have to be what you do, as always. So the first thing that I'm going to share with you is that whether Christians care to admit it or not, crystals were part of worship for many sects of Jewish people. Not so much for Orthodox Jews, but for many other sects of Jewish people. Crystals are a thing. Their mystical writings deal with references to crystals that are quite significant. We know from the Bible that God Himself told the priest that certain crystals had to be put in his breastplate or he would not be able to approach him. I don't think it was for decorative purposes there, guys. We're talking about being able to approach a holy being, right? We don't care necessarily if it's pretty. He put him there for a purpose. Jewish people were significant traders in the Middle Ages of gems and crystals, and they still incorporate them in their practices today. Again, some sects, not necessarily Orthodox Jews, but a lot of other Jewish sects do use crystals even today. So certain stones have been linked to certain angels to manifest their energy because that's what crystals do. They give off certain energy. They have their own traits as well, and those help us to allow the angel to manifest and give us that message. Do we have to have them? No, it's okay. But they're helpful. And I think especially for people, they're helpful because we have doubts. We have not got great attention spans, and I think it helps us to focus. Also, if you would like to start siphoning out the jobs of certain angels, you're going to see a connection between what Hindus and Buddhists refer to as chakras. Now, I'm about to be a Reiki practitioner, so I hands down believe in those and not out of blind faith. They are a metaphysical concept, but we have some scientific data that is starting to back up the spiritual practice of the chakra system. So, you can link the angels to different chakras. Their jobs tend to coincide with one, possibly two chakras, and it connects very well, which is very interesting for me. There is some overlap. Some of them do have two chakras that you can align them to. Sometimes their color, well, most of the time, honestly, their color matches. Sometimes it doesn't. So there can be a little bit of a mismatch there, but there's actually a really good connection there. Another thing that I like to practice is sound frequency, and we have plenty of research that shows that different frequencies help with different ailments in our body. They've been able to help with things such as curing cancer. They've been shown to improve health. And there are certain frequencies that are helpful for manifesting your angel. So I generally throw those on YouTube while I'm meditating. There is some debate as to whether like the compression and the YouTube system allows those to be the real frequencies, but my experience, I guess, with it shows that it works. Um, so just know that that's out there, and maybe some channels do a better job than other channels do with that compression system. Now, since our angels are linked to different chakras, we can also use sound bowls because the sound bowls are related to the chakra frequencies. So if you have a sound bowl, you can link that up with an angel and use it as well. I don't have any sound bowls here. Um, Oh, okay. Wow, so many disclaimers today, my friends. All right, all that said, let's start going through the archangels. I'll explain who they are, what they do. I do want to tell you that there is usually a lineup of seven archangels, then there's the 12 archangels, and then there's the 16 archangels. And there is a little discrepancy between those as to who the seven are, who the 12 are, and the 16 are. Would we expect anything different, really? So this is my lineup of the seven. I do know there's some discrepancies out there, but that's okay. These are the seven we're going to talk about today, and then I'm going to tell you about a few other archangels after that. that I don't have product for yet, but that I want to talk about today. So let's go on, and I'm going to put some beautiful pictures of angels up for you, possibly if Zoom would like to cooperate. All right, there we go. So first up is, of course, Mr. Michael, Archangel Michael. Now, Archangel Michael's color is blue, and with all of these things, there is some discrepancies or different things that you're going to find out there. One thing that happens with angels is that they get assigned a day of the week, they get assigned an element, they get assigned a color, crystals, herbs and scents, and all these different things. So there is some wiggle room there with the different people that they say, no, it's really Monday. This is like the most popular that I found that I've researched out and what felt right to me as well with certain crystals and scents. So this is what we're going with. You will find conflicting information out there. I absolutely guarantee it. Promise it. So if you're if you were born on a Sunday, Michael's your archangel. His chakra that he assigned is the root chakra. So his color doesn't line up because the root chakra is red. And if I'm working specifically with chakras and meditating with him, I do generally go ahead and grab a red candle to light as well. But his color's blue, so his candle is blue. Uh, Big scent for him, pretty much hands down, is frankincense and myrrh. You're going to find some others out there, but that's it. He is a frankincense and myrrh person. We're going to be grabbing candles off the side here. So here is his candle. And then we're going to see how well this works. You're going to see some of the crystals in here. Some of them get a little covered up with the candle wax, like right at the end when I'm kind of topping them off. Um, but here is his candle. And what you're going to see on top there is hyssop. So that is the herb that is associated with him, is the hyssop. You're going to see the little crystals in there. The crystals from Michael really reflect more of the root chakras. So they're going to be protection stones like tourmaline, onyx, and obsidian, and crystal quartz to absorb things. You can also put some lapis lazuli in there for him. That's a good stone from him. With these particular candles, I put at least four decent sized chips in each candle, but I also put little teeny chips through your candle. So you're not necessarily going to see some of what is actually in your candle until it starts burning, and then you're going to start to see the shimmering in there. It's really pretty cool. I've lit my own candles, and it's really neat. To help you, I have started to put these on, oh, there we go. Those on the top to help you to know what each one's used for. Can you burn this and use it for just, I thought it smelled good? Yeah, absolutely. Again, there's nothing that I've done to these candles to put any intention in them whatsoever. This is just my Archangel Michael's candle because I designed it with all of his things in mind. Um, okay, so we went over his herb, his scent, his color blue, um, and his crystals. Now, Michael is your guy for spiritual warfare. If and it doesn't have to be a big thing, like there's a demon in my house. That doesn't have to be what's happening here, okay? It can be I am really struggling with this sin, or I'm really struggling with making sure I'm reading my Bible every day, or whatever it may be for you. That's spiritual warfare. Um, we tend to think of it as like this big charge with the sword and going off to war, but he's here to help you with those small things too. Because if we don't take care of the small things, the big things get bigger. Um, as I mentioned, his stones are really protection stones, and that's why I also use him when I'm blessing a house, because he is a protector. So he helps me get rid of energy and get rid of entities that are in a home. He also helps me to protect the home from having things come in it. So is it always like going to work the second we come in? No. It doesn't. It takes time sometimes to move things out. We're fighting a battle. You know, you don't automatically just go in and win the battle in 5 seconds. You might. I've never had it happen, but you might. It is a process. Normally, things require several cleansings to get the work done. That doesn't mean Michael's weak. It doesn't mean this or that. It's just the process of things. Um, and I always recommend people bless their home at least once a month. That way, everything on it is fresh. The oil's fresh, your salt's fresh. All of those things are fresh. We can't just do it one time and say, got it. That's just not how it works. So he helps with those things, along with putting boundary protection up. There's boundaries. So he's a good angel to work for with if you need to work on your boundaries. And lastly, he is the angel of justice. So if you're dealing with any unfair issues or legal issues, he's a good angel to help you navigate through those. Again, you're not always going to win just because Michael's with you, or you're not going to solve an unjust situation just because Michael's with you, but he can help you if you can't solve it to be able to process that and be able to move on despite that horrible situation. Okay. And I'm going to tell you exactly kinda how I meditate with these. My friend told me like I'm just weird. And she needed something like more firm, like step by step directions. And I do apologize. I don't have those. But I'm going to tell you what to do with these products at the end of the video. So just hang tight with me. Um, let's move on to my personal archangel, Archangel Shamuel. Now his color is pink, and let me grab him here. Here we go. His color is pink. He is your archangel if you were born on a Tuesday. He's related to the heart chakra, of course, because he's pink. Now, there are different scents for him, but it's rose. Um, that's pretty much a hands down agreement. And of course, then his herb is going to be rose. So that's what one of the candles look like. And again, guys, there's usually more herb. This one you can see the petals in really well, but like with the hyssop and different ones like that, they kind of got a little buried down into the wax. So you don't get to see how beautiful it is till you burn it. You can see some of the larger crystal chunks in this one. I didn't top this one off as bad as the others. Sometimes I have to kind of just keep pouring a little bit there to get those stones settled in at the top so that all this doesn't dump out when you open it. Um, when it starts to melt, it's all going to come loose and be fine. Um, Crystals. Crystals for Shamneel are going to be, of course, rose quartz. Rhodochrosite is a really good one too, especially if you need to work on forgiveness and self-love. And strawberry quartz is good for him as well. Now, he is the angel that you would call on if you need help with love and relationships. If you're trying to find a mate, he's a good angel to work with. You need to work on any relationship. He's a good angel to work with, and he's a good angel for learning to love yourself as well. If you've dealt with trauma, since he is a heart chakra angel, then he's a good angel to work with to try to process it and move on, especially if you need to work on forgiveness. Now, let me be clear as a trauma survivor myself, forgiveness is not saying it's okay, it's letting go of something so that it doesn't continue to torture you. It's saying that you're not going to allow the other person to beat you up every single day of your life, and it is a process. It doesn't happen just magically. Shamuel is also the angel that helps you find lost things. He helps me more times than I'd like to admit. So if you've lost something, he's a good angel to call out to and see if he can help you. He's also an angel of peace. Peace comes with love, and so if you are looking to have some inner peace, he's a good angel to meditate with as well. And going along with the heart chakra, let's talk about Archangel Raphael. So, Archangel Raphael's color is green. He's your angel if you were born on a Wednesday, and he is, of course, related to the heart chakra as well. Some popular scents for him include jasmine and sandalwood. This is a jasmine candle for you. The crystals that work well with him are going to be like green aventurine, malachite, emerald, green agate, and jade. My personal favorites are green aventurine and malachite. There are actually some malachite chips in here, even though it's more expensive. You are definitely not going to see them until you burn this. They are tiny, guys. If you've ever bought chipped crystals off the internet in the boxes, that's what we're going for. But there are several big stones. Again, I always try to make sure to put four of the bigger stones in here and then the chipped ones. This is jasmine on top, jasmine buds as well for the herb. Um, Now, some things that you can call on Archangel Raphael for, and one that he's really popular for, is health issues. And this can be mental health or physical health. Um, he is often cited as the angel to help you work through complicated emotions, especially fear. If you're going through an addiction that you're trying to kick, this is a good archangel to meditate with so that you can overcome that. He's also known for protecting travelers, so you might want to meditate with him before a trip that you have and relating him to the health issues in the apothecary or in the Catholic Bible, you're going to find a story of him getting rid of a demon, and he comes in a form of a human and walks with this person. But he's able to get rid of the demon by using parts of the fish. So, definitely a healing kind of angel. If you're looking for healing, Raphael is your go to guy. Now, my friend Uriel, and I am going to tell you a good story for Uriel. Fear not. Let's let's talk about Uriel. I have meditated with obviously my archangel. I have meditated a lot with Michael, and I have worked some with Raphael. I have a lot of health issues, and again, I'm a trauma survivor as well. So I have worked with them. A newer angel to me, and I guess coming up this May, it's going to have been 2 years now, was when I did my first meditation with him. And I was looking to get some writing done, and I was struggling. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to work with Uriel because creativity's his thing. So let's talk about his stats, I guess, first. Um, he is the color orange, and it is a golden type orange, so you're going to notice some like gold color through here as well. Um, he's your angel if your birthday was on a Saturday. If you were born on a Saturday. It doesn't change every year. Whatever day you were born on is the angel you get assigned to. And actually in Jewish tradition, there's a certain angel for every day as well. Like there's one for February 1st, February 2nd, February 3rd, February 4th. Then you get one if you're born on a Tuesday, if you're born on a Wednesday. You've got a lot of angels watching out for you. Kind of reminds me of that joke about there being like a long list of people you contact before you contact Jesus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. It's hilarious. Um, so, if you're born on a Saturday, Uriel is your archangel. He's related, of course, to the sacral chakra. Now, typical scents for him are sandalwood and rosemary, and sandalwood really seems to be the popular one, and I'd say that matches. The crystals that are good for him are carnelian, argonite, amber, and red jasper. Um, Amber and argonite are really, really difficult to find as chipped anything. So, mostly my candle's going to consist of red jasper and carnelian, and I really topped this one off. I can see the crystals like right below here. I'll try to like zoom it in so you can kind of see them too. There's sandalwood herb through here as well. And even though you can only see the one crystal really well, there's another one right here poking out and another one right here poking out. They're in there. Um, and then the sandalwood. So those are his crystals and his scents. Now, for Archangel Uriel, he is, like I said, good for creativity. He's also good if you're experiencing sexual issues and healing trauma. So, if you're a sex abuse survivor, this is a good angel to work with. If you feel blocked in your emotions or you need help stabilizing them, he's a good angel for that. He is somewhat known as an angel of knowledge. He can help you to navigate your life path. So if you're going through a transition or you want to make like a big change to take a different path, then he is a good angel to work with. So Uriel and I wanted to meditate for creativity, and I kind of felt blocked. So I thought this would be a good time to meditate with Uriel, and I did. So I'm going to show you at the end what a angel meditation kit looks like. This is it right here, but we're going to look at the stuff inside of it at after I'm done with this. Oh my goodness, guys. Ah, I didn't switch the pictures for you. No, this is Raphael. I kind of forgot he had that up. This is Raphael, and then I'm realizing that my screen's going to be small. So I will go back and show candles at the end of this when I put my screen down too. Oh my goodness, guys. It's been a long week. So here is Archangel Raphael, and now we're on to Archangel Uriel. I feel like I slided Raphael. Um, Archangel Uriel. So in these meditation kits, there is a stone that's a not a palm stone because it's not that big, but like a tumbled stone of a decent size. And I usually use those when I'm meditating. I like to put them on the chakra I'm working with, or I like to hold them. If you're like me and you have anxiety, like that's a great thing to do. So I had this stone, Argonite, setting on my sacral chakra, and I was meditating. And I did feel him there with me. And this sounds weird. This is what my friend told me I'm weird. I was pushing energy around. So maybe if you do Reiki, you don't think I'm weird, right? Because that's what we do with Reiki. We push energy around. Um, but I was kind of pushing energy around and um, I felt something rip through my body. And I knew immediately what it was. I had surgery years ago and I got severely dehydrated after surgery and I formed two kidney stones. One passed with no problems, and the other one was so big the doctor told me it would never ever pass, and he wouldn't go get it. And he also marked down the wrong kidney that it was in. So it had been hurting for years and years when we didn't know what it was. I have a lot of health issues. We chalked it up to a chronic thing. And as it turns out, it was the kidney stone. And Uriel and I had just ripped it right through my kidney to the urethra. And so I have fibromyalgia. I can tolerate quite a bit of pain. And so I went to work. I work from home. It wasn't that hard. And then I went to the hospital and found out that yes, indeed, I had ripped that 8.5 by 5.5 millimeter kidney stone through my kidney. And so I like to say when I work with Uriel, things tend to explode. I haven't worked with him very often, but I feel like we're like, I don't know, oil and fire somewhat, right? But I had surgery. It wasn't quite emergency surgery. They had enough time to get me off my fish oil and stuff. But then I had a stent in for about 20 days as well, and then had a horrible infection for months after that also. And then also had spinal fluid. Well, it was right at the base of my spine. So I had an infection fluid thing setting at the base of my spine, almost went into a spinal infection. It was all fun. It was great. Um, so that's my experience. Not, I've never had like such a horrific experience. And it was actually a good thing that we got it out. I feel a lot better now that it's out. So he is really good at unblocking things. That's my story with Uriel. And like I said, he's come forward for the sleeper mortuary case now as well. And I was a little, I'm a little frightened. I'm like, do you remember what happened the last time we worked together, friend? Like, I don't know. So, um, that's Uriel. He's kind of my go-to joke at the moment. Um, let's talk about the last three angels. Now, I have not really meditated with these three angels. I've seen them. Um, I have worked a little bit with Gabrielle though, because we worked on getting rid of a demon together. So I haven't meditated with her, but I have worked with her. I see Gabriel as a her. You're going to again hear me interchangeably using him and her because they are not assigned a sex. They are binary. Um, Gabriel's color is white, but she doesn't match with her chakras because we don't really have a white chakra. If your birthday was on a Monday, if you were born on a Monday, she is your archangel. You might see her as a guy again, might look completely different for you. Now, she's associated with Violet and Rosemary, and I originally really wanted Rosemary for her as her scent, but the botanical rosemary, even combined with essential oil, wasn't giving me the scent I wanted. So her candle is going to be violet. However, her herb in it is going to be rosemary. So there's that. I'm still going to show these, but then at the end I will re-show them. And again, this one's been topped off quite a bit, and I can tell, I can see some of her crystals sticking out here. So when you don't see a crystal at the top, it means that I didn't fill this full enough before I laid the crystal down. Um, I fill it up to a certain point, and then I kind of have to measure how big the crystal is that I'm putting in it so that it will stay stuck in there for you. And some of the crystals, if they're a little larger, if they're a little smaller, I don't always quite get it right in there. So rest assured, you always have four crystals that are bigger in here as well as chips. Um, her chips, I was really worried about too. Um, one of her chips, I use whatever chips I have on hand at the time, since there's a variety here. Um, one of the chips, I actually found chips of the selenite in the desert rose. Once you get a desert rose wet, like it is not a pretty desert rose anymore. I don't know how to describe it. The top part of it like dissolves and then it hardens and it just looks like a rock that you would pick up out of the street. So if you are a person who gets selenite in here, is it going to do its job? Absolutely, it's selenite. However, it is not going to look pretty for you to keep it afterwards. Just so you know, it's going to look pretty terrible because it's gotten wet in the wax, but it's in there. Now, Gabriel is good for communication. So if you need confidence in speaking, this is your go-to angel. She links to the throat chakra as well as the crown chakra. She is famous for delivering the most important announcements, right, in the Bible. She delivers the messages to Mary, asking her to bear Jesus. She talks to Joseph. She announces Jesus's birth to the shepherds. She is the angel who relays the Quran to Prophet Muhammad. She announces John the Baptist's birth as well. So she's an important angel, and because she's so associated with birth, she also is linked to helping people experiencing infertility. Her crown chakra is associated in delivering messages from God. So, like the crown is our opening to the spirits. She is known for delivering those messages. So that's why she's related to two chakras. If you are looking to transform your mind, use wisdom, and grow personally, then this is a good angel to meditate with. Our next angel is Archangel Jopiel. She is associated with the color yellow. If you were born on a Friday, she is your angel, and she is associated with the solar plexus, which is also yellow. Some common scents for Archangel Jovial are cinnamon and basil. She's associated with citrine, howlite, and selenite, as well as yellow aventurine. So for here, we have some cinnamon pieces through here, and the candle is going to be cinnamon. So you can see that one. That cinnamon is pretty buried in there, and a lot of it ended up on this side. Um, it was one of the harder herbs to work with, actually. So I know it floats at this point pretty badly, and it has to be laid more on top. So hopefully you'll be seeing a little bit more of your crystals in there the next time I make these candles. But that's how they look, and everything's in there, and that's all that's important. It doesn't have to look pretty on top. When we burn it, it looks pretty. Um, Now, for Archangel Jofiel, she is basically, no, her name means the beautiful. So if you are wanting to meditate on the beauty of things, this is your person, or angel. This is your angel. She is known for like artistic pursuits and just that beauty that comes with artsy things. So if you like that, if you like the cultural stuff, then this is a good angel for you. She helps you to process experiences, make sense of them, ponder that bigger meaning of them. She's also helpful for overcoming negative thoughts because she is an angel of joy and happiness and beauty. So if you just need like some depression relief, then she is a great choice for meditation. And our last main angel is Archangel Zachiel. His color is purple. He is your angel if you were born on a Thursday. He is, of course, associated with the crown chakra, but he's also associated with the third eye chakra. Although he's associated with several scents, lavender is pretty much hands down his scent, and amethyst is pretty much hand down his crystal. There's also some sodalite and lapis lazuli chips in here because he is also good for working with your third eye chakra. Now, he is known for wisdom, like a deep understanding of things, but also book smarts. He is the angel of learning. So he's going to be popular for people that are like scholars. If you're needing help with your schoolwork, if you're in college, those types of things, he's good to meditate with. He helps to release trauma by teaching you the lesson you're supposed to learn from it and then allowing you to move on. He's noted for overcoming negativity and anger that's associated with overcoming trauma. He helps to make forgiveness easier for us, and gives us a sense of peace in that forgiveness and letting go of that. And also, he is the guy that the angel. I keep saying the guy or the girl. He's the angel that helps with financial matters and producing an abundance of things. So if you're looking for help with finances or looking to change things and make your life more abundant, this would be a good angel to meditate with. Now, I did tell you that there were some other angels I wanted to mention, and I don't really have any product for them, but they've been helpful to me, and they are angels that I have meditated with. So I want to share them with you, and they are going to be the three that I'm going to talk about are the three in line to get products made next. It's expensive to buy all of this stuff and make it. So until things start kind of moving a little more slowly, then I will start expanding into the other angels. The first one we're going to talk about is Archangel Ariel. She is the angel over the stewardship of the earth and the animals in it. Now, she does a lot more than that, but she's the angel that I meditate with if I'm working on spirit animal reports. Um, I don't really have a product that is per se hers. However, I do have a spirit animal candle. And the scent and the herb in it is sage, which is hers. And I will be putting moss agate in the next round of these because that represents her. They also have Dalmatian jasper in them. This one's horribly topped off. It's just going to look brown on the top, guys, but there is sage in this. It smells like sage. It has Dalmatian jasper and turquoise in it. The turquoise was an important crystal for Native Americans, and it helps us communicate. So I added those in, and Dalmatian jasper is good for connecting with animals. So I will also be putting her moss agate stone in the next round. That way, everything's represented in there. And then, of course, as I grow this collection, she will have a big candle made just specifically for her. You can work on other things that she is a part of as well. This next one's a little hard. So this is Archangel Azrael. Now he is the angel of death, and I do not have a single thing to represent him, but he's very important, and I definitely wanted to make product for him. My grandmother passed away about a year ago. Honestly, within a couple of days, it's going to be a year. And it was definitely a hard process. And I have never been on the dying end of a spirit process. And I like control and I like to know what's happening. And I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what to expect. And he did pop up for me. I actually ended up taking equipment in with me. I do have two figures floating, and I didn't know it was him that was floating. Uh, from sitting in hospice literally for over a week. Um, but I realized that I could embrace him because he was helping walk me through that dying process. Um, and I'm going to assume was also helping my grandmother through that dying process. So if you're in those final stages, I think he would be a helpful angel to meditate with. If you're having to be with someone going through those final stages, I think he would be a good angel to meditate with. And he's also a good angel to meditate with if you are experiencing grief, whether that's related to a physical dying or some other kind of grief. He is good to meditate with. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not at a really great point, even a year later, dealing with talking about this without crying. And I do not want to cry on YouTube today. So I'm going to leave that one there. He's good for other things as well, but he is known as the angel of death. Of course, his color is black. And I will be making product for him for those that are experiencing grief in their life in our next round of Archangel candles. And then we're going to end on a very happy note. So this is Archangel Haniel. She is an angel you can meditate with if you're wanting to work on your third eye. She can give you spiritual insight and help you develop psychic abilities. She's also the angel that helps with manifesting your desires. She helps you to have self-love and harmony in relationships. She's connected to the third eye and the heart chakras, which is kind of weird, but also amazing. And I particularly love her because sometimes, most of the time, she's depicted in peach and teal. And I will say that's how I see her. But I've also seen pictures of her in pink and green. And so that's my thing. So I love that a lot. I am not going to tell you my personal story with Archangel Haniel right now because it's going to be read on a podcast on February 16th on the Light Paranormal. So I want to save that. I want you to hop over to my friend Dee's podcast and listen to my story. I wrote the whole thing out for her from start to finish, which I've never done before because finish didn't happen until a couple years ago. And I will probably eventually tell it on this channel as well. But because I want you to go watch a podcast or listen to a podcast, I'm not going to tell you today. I am going to give you information on that podcast before we head out. I'll go ahead and pop that over now and then we'll look at it. It's also on my website and it's going to be linked on my website when it drops. It's also going to be linked in the description bar down here so that you can hop over to Dee's website and like all of her social media as well. So I will go over that at the end of the video, but let's go ahead and take the stop share down so that I am actually like what you see big on the screen. So let's go back over candles. This is Archangel Michael's candle, and here is the inside of that. Again, you can see a couple of the stones popping out here, but some of them are just buried under a little bit of candle wax. And the hyssop really moves a lot. I'm learning how to put the herbs in. This is the first time I've put herbs in them. So Michael is frankincense and myrrh. Again, I do not put any energy into these. Crystals come with energy. That's why God said to just put them in the breastplate. But you can put your intention into crystals to make that more or like a heightened energy, right? It's putting its energy out into the intention of what you want in there. And at some point, we'll go over how to do that on this channel. So hit the subscribe button. But there's no work that I've done or intention that I have put into your candle. If you want to go home and just burn a pretty candle, here you go. If you want to use it for Michael and just, be like, this is Michael's candle because all the things in it are for Michael, then you burn it and you're good. If you want to meditate with it and put intention into it, you can absolutely do that. Mine's not in there. If you feel some kind of way about the crystals that are in here, because not every crystal wants to be ours, they all do the same thing. But when I pick them, I do kind of do an energy check around them. Some want to be yours. You can always pop this on some selenite, let it cleanse, and then you've kind of got that blank slate to start with again, and it would hopefully take care of things. Our next angel was Chamuel. So Chamuel's candle is here. We've got roses in it. It smells like roses. And we've got carnelian and red jasper and strawberry quartz in Chamuel's candle. Then we went to Raphael, which I so shorted because I didn't put his picture up online. His candle is jasmine. He's going to have green aventurine in here. There's malachite chips in here, and I want to say jade. And then jasmine buds in here as well. Then we moved on to Archangel Uriel. I'm starting to get blurry from moving too much, so let me fix that just real quick. There we go. Uriel is going to be sandalwood. You are going to find red jasper, and carnelian in here. Pretty much those are the two stones. Argonite and amber are just pretty impossible to find in chipped that is cost afford like budget friendly. We'll say budget friendly. So that is Uriel's. Gabriel's candle is white. It's going to have a violet scent to it, and these are rosemary chips on the top. It's going to have blue lace agate in it and howlite and turquoise in this, and also some blue aventurine. And these can change depending on what I have. So it doesn't necessarily guarantee there's a howlite in here. It's just those are the crystals associated with her. Whatever I have on hand that goes with that angel is what goes into the candle that I'm making at the time. Um, Archangel Jopiel is a cinnamon scent, and she has chipped up cinnamon. Ooh, you really can't see that. It's still bright. Chipped up cinnamon sticks throughout this candle. And then the last one is Archangel Zachiel. His is lavender, predominantly amethyst. There's going to be sodalite and lazuli chips through here as well. And this is lavender buds on the top. Now, those are my angel meditation candles. Again, nothing put in them. You do it yourself. I also make angel meditation kits. Why the two things? Well, I made the candles because I wanted to, but my preferred method is this. So I might burn this if I'm feeling like I need protection in the house. I might grab my Archangel Michael candle and burn it. If I'm working on different things, like when I went on the trip for the sleeper mortuary and I knew Archangel Uriel wanted to be part of this trip, I took his candle and burned it just in the hotel room while I was meditating, while I was working on the case. It just gives you the atmosphere of that angel. Um, again, because it's associated with their things, it doesn't guarantee you're going to draw an angel down if you light it up. So this is an angel meditation kit, and this is how I started meditating. And it is going to have some incense. It's going to give you 4 incense sticks. This particular kit happens to be Michael's kit. So these are going to be frankincense and myrrh incense sticks that are in here. You're also going to get a little bottle of oil. Now, if you are sensitive to essential oils, this has been highly diluted with olive oil. However, you might want to dilute it a little bit more. It does not have essential oil in it. It has botanical oil in it, and it's made basically like through a cold press process, which makes it a little gentler on the skin, and it also makes it more fragrant. So don't think just because it smells really strong, there's a lot of oil in here. There's actually none. It's botanical fragrance. Um, it's a different process of getting the oils out. It is highly diluted, again, with pure olive oil. But I have sensitive skin, so I know. You might want to dilute it further. I've got super sensitive skin that stays dry a lot, which is why my soap is goat's milk. So this doesn't bother me, but I can't promise it won't bother you. You might want to test it out, or just go ahead and automatically dilute it. So for Michael, there's frankincense botanical oil and myrrh botanical oil in here mixed in, or fragrance oil mixed in with the olive oil. So you've got plenty here to do the meditations with. You'll probably have extra over. I usually put some of this on myself. I usually do like a cross on my forehead. I might put it on like my wrists, like a perfume. If you're having a bad day or something, you need one of these angels, you can put this on as long as it's okay for your skin. Um, I put this on for them. So um, the next thing you're going to have in here are candles, and you're going to get 4 of them, and they're just little, oh, sorry guys. So we have a green screen that's a blue screen behind me, and I'm going to have to hold this very, very carefully, or it's going to look see-through. So just little chime candles, that there's 4 of them in here. I wonder if I did it that way. Oh, heavens, no, that made it worse. Okay. So chime candles, 4 of them. You're going to use one for each meditation. So you can do 4 meditations with each kit. And then the other thing that is in the kit is I have picked one stone that goes along with your angel. So for Michael, there is, I believe, tourmaline in here. It is so hard to tell apart tourmaline and obsidian to me. This is tourmaline. So just a little crystal in here. I like to, what I do is I take my oil and I put it on the chime candle. There is a whole process for how to dress a candle in paganism and Wicca. Um, I do not do anything fancy. I just put the oil on the candle. Some people say to put it inward if you're doing something, or put it outward if you're doing something. I don't know. Um, I have never done that. I have just dipped my finger in the oil and put it across the candle. Um, then what I do is I light the candle. I have like little candlestick things that they fit inside. Or if you're talented, which sometimes I'm not, um, you can kind of burn the end of one of these and then stick it like on a plate, not a paper plate, please, or styrofoam plate. We don't need any fires in the world. Put it on a candle-safe bowl plate. And then you can stick it to that plate like a brass plate and light the wick for it to stay standing up. I then light the incense from the candle. Do you have to? No, but I do. That's what I do. One incense stick is plenty. One candle is plenty. We don't need a huge amount of anything. I put the oil on my crystal as well, and I put it on me. I usually turn on my angel frequency music, and then I sit and meditate. Now, for Michael, if I'm working on my root chakra, I will probably place the stone on my root chakra. If I am just meditating, I often just hold it in my hand and feel it and meditate with it. Now, I have put together like a little meditation guide in here. I have people that don't understand what I do, and that's completely understandable. Um, I've learned to kind of push energy around because I feel it. I'm not going to tell you I even know what I'm doing with it sometimes, but that's what I do. I'm going to be a Reiki practitioner, not the next time you see my video, but shortly thereafter. So I'm going to be more knowledgeable about how to push that around. It's all a learning process. So I do that. Sometimes I have visions pop into my head. Sometimes I have like a voice pop into my head and I'll hear something in my head. Sometimes I don't hear things out loud, but I know some people do. I tend to communicate more telepathically. Sometimes I see the angels, sometimes I don't. Um, Sometimes I feel them working over me. A lot of the time I don't. Um, I did put together, though, this little meditation book to try to help you through it and give you some ideas of what you might experience. You might experience a message from God that's very clear. It might come in a vision, it might come telepathically, you might hear it out loud. Another thing that I do, and I forgot to mention this, the Catholics generally have a prayer to the angel. I don't believe in praying to angels because they're under God's command and they're going to do what he says. So why would I pray to them? I pray at the beginning for God to send the angel down to me with any messages and insight he might have for me, or to help me do X, Y, and Z. So, like when I meditated on the road with Archangel Uriel, I held my crystal just in my hand. I had my candle lit, which was convenient. I didn't have to deal with all of this. Um, I just lit one of these instead. That was super convenient. And then I just sat and listened for messages and kind of asked questions in my head, like, why are you here? Why are you wanting to help with this? What do I need to know about this? So you can ask questions. If it helps you to ask them out loud, that's fine. You may not feel anything. You may feel a lot. It really depends. It may come in the form of just emotions. It may come in the form of just crying. It might come in the form of feeling really happy. It might come in the form of feeling a lot of peace. There's a lot of different ways that this could go. So let me tell you what I'm doing on my channel. I've had so many people that have basically told me I don't know how to meditate. I can't do that. You can. It takes practice, and you're not going to do it right, and you're going to have to bring yourself back to it every few seconds. That's how meditation works, especially when you start with it. Um, I've gotten really good at it. I we meditated in the medicine wheel circle at Sleeper Mortuary, and I felt like I had been there maybe 20 minutes, and we had been in that circle for over an hour. Um, I just didn't realize it. So the more you do it, just like with every other exercise in the world, the stronger you get with it, right? So that's what we do with meditation. It is February. By the time you see this, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Um, when you see this, it will be February 14th, 2026. I am currently working 10-hour days because my boy in China is getting ready to take a super huge test that is going to determine a lot of his future. And I would move heaven and earth for my kids there. I have a family I tutor in China. So, I don't care that I'm working 10-hour days. However, it is making it a week where I pretty much work and sleep and repeat. Um, I also am being certified as a Reiki practitioner 1 and 2 this month. So that's a lot of work that's going in as well. And then I am working on the Sleeper Mortuary book. So those are my priorities in life right now. And what I really want to do is sit down and make you guys meditation videos. I want to walk you through it or sit with you through it so that you have something where we just sit and experience it together. Um, is that going to happen in February 2026? It's not. I am within a month going to try to make those videos for you, and to tell you anything sooner would be a lie. So stay tuned, hit the subscribe button. It will be coming down. Um, Life has been busy and that book has been the priority. So they are coming. I also am having trouble trying to explain to you guys what it is I do. So I've been trying to figure out how to make that make sense for you and to help you experience it as well. Again, the products I use, I have put some research into, but if there's better references out there or you're from honestly, because a lot of this has been based on Judaism and then also how the angels have kind of developed in the modern world. Please drop me that link or that book because I want to read it. Um, so let's pop back over very quickly. I just want to remind you that my story on Archangel Haniel will be on the Light Paranormal podcast by Dee McCoy. That's going to be aired on February 16th, 2026. Her podcast is on Spotify. It's also available on her website. I will be putting links up to it. My story is going to be available just in her podcast for a while so that you can go watch that. I've listened to several of her podcasts already, despite having a crazy schedule, because I wanted to make sure my story fit for her podcast. So I can highly recommend it. It was very enlightening. She's got a great voice as well. There's also going to be another story read by somebody that had an angel experience. So hop over and check out her stuff. There is a link to her website in this video, and there will be a link up on my website when that goes live on Spotify on Monday. And of course, I'll be posting that on my socials. My website is going to be in the links below as well. Make sure that you hop over there and subscribe to my social medias, and also make sure you like and subscribe to this video. I will see you next Saturday. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.